afternoon, Generation W, and welcome back to Refresh. As you know, this is a time to connect, to be inspired, to learn something new, and ultimately feel a bit better about ourselves and this time we spent together. How is everyone? I always expect to hear a resounding something. We're doing okay. Well, let me wish you a happy holidays. Tonight is the 7th of the 8 nights of Hanukkah. May all who are lighting share their light with all of us. And of course, there are 12 shopping, searching, wrapping days left to Christmas. You know, there's always this rush this time of year. It feels like a race, a time to get through, items to complete, people to connect with, deals to close, parties to attend, meetings to make sure you squeeze them in, gifts to send and to wrap. And in the rush of doing, there's also this rush of emotions, right? We think about the nostalgia of holidays gone by, the longing for some, the missing of some, the reminders of pleasure, and in some cases, pain. I have heard stressmas from friends as a way to describe this time of year because it is stressful. And while, of course, our dear friends from the Mayo Clinic, if you recall, and if you haven't, you should definitely listen to her refresh. Dr. Musalem has said some stress can be good, and I hold on to that. The holidays can be challenging. So today we thought that we would focus on how we can feel good, how we can manage our stress, and share some stories on how doing good is one of our best antidotes for showing up and really being our best selves. And this being our last refresh of 2023, we thought this would be our gift to you. So today we have our revered mental health expert and board member, Jamie Olken, 25 years of private practice as a psychotherapist and life coach. Excuse me. Joining us once again to share her wisdom and experience. And, you know, she'll provide, as usual, helpful mental health tips for navigating through and around the holidays. And she'll be sitting beside, virtually, of course, two wonderful women, one of them who's having some connection issues and we're working through that, who will share how they are on an everyday basis reaching outside of themselves to serve. And in that process, feeding their inner souls and finding goodness and grace. And there's lessons for all in their stories. And we're looking forward to hearing from them. So they will be, let me see, Belinda is not back yet. I think she's trying to get on her phone. Belinda Ohmer started Love Lunches to honor her beloved son, Matt's memory, who tragically died in a car accident at the age of 24. And Love Lunches provides assistance to those who are homeless and are in need in the North Florida areas. And their mission is really to make a difference in their lives, make sure that they're seen. And we'll look forward to her sharing her story about that. And then there's Malea. Hi, Malea.
Hello.
Guirba, she's the executive director of Pie in the Sky. It's dedicated to fighting senior hunger. Her story, the non-pie making Malea, will inspire us, you know, with now she's become a pie maker. But so much more than that. How about a life maker, right?
Yeah, right.
All right, so before we hear those stories, like really, Jamie, I wanted to just start with you if I could. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Donna. Hi, Malea. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Why is it with all the bells ringing and the storefronts gleaming and there's joy and excitement in the air that we feel so much stress this time of year?
So that's a good question, Donna. And I'm going to simplify it. So obviously the things that we talk about is just to kind of fit into our talk today. But if I asked people that I work with, what are the two issues? It's money and family. And so you're a doctor who spoke about good stress. There's plenty of good stress. It gets us motivated. It gets our serotonin going. It gets our cortisol going. But money and stress are definitely family are the two things that I'd like to just address. And maybe we can take steps to enjoying both of those. You know, we have expectations. You're talking about social gatherings and rituals and traditions and wrapping and all of that stuff. But it is stressful. We're trying to fit as much as we can into the 12 wrapping days that you're talking about.
Right.
And I think what we really need to do is the number one thing that I'd like you to kind of think about is what are we doing this time of year that we don't normally do?
Correct.
Right. And so sometimes it kind of gets out of control. And that's what exacerbates our stress. And so we once had a Generation W person from North Florida that said, we got to brush our heart and really take care of ourselves. The first thing I'd like to kind of talk about is what's our trigger? What's overwhelming us? What are we really worrying about? And I think that if we identify what those triggers are or what we're concerned about, then we could kind of plan ahead. We could kind of look at what we're worried about or what's stressing us out or what's not making us feel good and act on that. So the first thing is to take care of yourself and really think about, why do I feel so crummy? Because I have to say, taking care of other people and doing nice things for other people makes me personally feel awesome. And it's hard to do all of that if I'm not taking care of myself. And so, you know, Malea does a lot of things for other people, but you really got to kind of first say, what am I not feeling well about and what can I change? So definitely keeping your routine. Being able, and I know, Sherry, you may want to put this up, but addressing kind of what makes you feel good, keeping a routine, exercising, sleeping well. Sleep is our serotonin rebuilder. We want to keep that feeling good in ourselves. We want to eat well. You know, it's not the excuse to overeat, overdrink, and really kind of go at it. We want to just keep ourselves in check. You know, I like to think about people that I'm missing or people that I've lost, and really think about the good times I've had with them. And what do the holidays really give us with those people? I think it's okay to say no, everybody. It's okay.
Yeah, but some of us have hard times with that, Jamie, but I hear you.
It's okay to say no. If we're not invited to a party, that's okay. We can either make our own party or we could ask to help somebody else that needs to be with somebody else. So a party is just one or other person. So if we're feeling like we're left out, find somebody who also would like to be with you. What else can I tell you?
And I'm sure there's going to be more, and we're going to
Okay.
come back to you about that. We're going to come
Okay.
back on specifics. That was really helpful. And we do have your graphic, and we'll go over that in a little bit. But let's say hello to Malea. You mentioned Malea does a lot for other people. Like you said, it makes you feel awesome. Malea, tell us a little bit about Pie in the Sky and how you came to be the ultimate pie maker.
Well, Pie in the Sky began, we're about to celebrate our 15th year.
Wow.
And yeah, it's pretty big. And it was a result of somebody telling me I couldn't do something. And that just makes me want to do it more. My mom always said, if it's between my head and the wall's going to have a hole. And so I decided to make pie to help folks in this small rural farming town in southwest St. Johns County, just 17 miles west of the nation's oldest city, St. Augustine. And there were a lot of troubles down there, and so they only had one restaurant, and he didn't serve dessert. So I said, well, I'll make pie. And a friend of mine said, you should call it Pie in the Sky because you have pie in the sky ideas about how to help people. So we did. So I opened a little pie shop, but the only glitch was I'd never baked an actual pie. And so, but you know, there's always the internet, and people come by and they you know, sort of caught on. And so the pie shop was this little shop on Main Street. We had decorated with antiques and stuff. And so in the front of the pie shop, we sold pie by day. And then in the back of the pie shop, we ran an underground railroad for modern day slave farm workers who worked in the fields of Hastings in very terrible conditions. So that was kind of how it all got started. It was about filling in the cracks because these farm workers, when they would come to us, the crew leaders had taken their identification. They couldn't get Social Security. There was just nowhere no services available. And more than a crack, it was an abyss. And so we, we did other things in the community, and we had a food pantry, gave away 1 million pounds of food. But part of that, talking about giving, it was the food pantry was huge. We'd have 15,000 pounds of food in a day that we would unload. And so the farm workers would come after they'd been out in the fields all day. They'd rush back to the food pantry because we let them work on the inside. So they had the opportunity to be givers, which they'd never had.
Oh, nice.
And they took ownership of it, and it gave them hope. And at the end of the day, people always gave them gloves and hats and food and things like that, and those are all things that could be taken away from them and sold back to them. But the one thing that the bad people couldn't take away was the hope that they were getting from what we were doing. So they eventually found a way to make that go away. But pie continued on, and today we feed. Our sole program is delivering fresh produce, which we purchase at its height to deliver to low-income, hungry senior citizens throughout St. Johns County. And we're delivering to we started with 12 in 2016, and we're delivering to 650
Wow.
today, all 4 corners of St. Johns County. Volunteers drove over 29,000 miles last year, delivering 72 tons of fresh produce. So that's what we do. And it's the same premise. We have over 100 volunteers now. We started out with 4, 2 of whom were my children. And now it's still about giving everybody the opportunity to be a giver, to come in and see what that's like. Whether you can, we have a senior who's in a wheelchair and nobody else would let her come because she couldn't stand up. When we put her at the end of the table, she ties the bags and she rules the roost too. But there's always something everybody can do. So that's one of the things I'm very proud of, that even though 15 years ago it was just me in a little pie shop, and today we're 4 employees, 100 volunteers, but we're still we've maintained that grassroots, boots on the ground feel of our organization, and I'm super proud of that.
Yeah, you definitely should be super proud of that. Let me just say hello to Alana and Amy. Thanks, Ariel, Barry, Donna, Gemma, Joshua. Nice to and Joy Kurtz. Joy's been with us. She's been part of our community. Maggie, Katrina, Marielle. Wow, this is all great. Tiffany's actually going to kick off the new year. She's going to be bringing us back with a great mindset in January. Remember, everyone, please, this is a great time to ask questions of either Jamie and Malea, and we're still hoping to get Belinda back. You said so many interesting things here, and I don't know what you heard, Jamie, but when you said you can give somebody hope, and once you give it and they receive it, no one can take it away. That is incredibly powerful.
It is, and like I say, in the hands of nefarious people, it can be tragic too. But I like to think that we touched a lot of lives and did give people vulnerable, marginalized folks that nobody gave a second thought to, other than how many heads of cabbage they could cut. That we did give them something, and I'm still in touch with. When I went down there the other day, I saw the first woman who ever helped me at the food pantry, and she's getting food she's now a senior, disabled, and she's getting food from us. And I got to spend a little time with her and hear from her how important that time was to her, even though, like I say, people try to take it away. But once it's in here, it gives the people who would have power over you just a little less. And of course they don't like it, but once it's there, I don't think it goes away.
But Malea, you're also talking about your kindness. And I think that just the kindness and the feeling good and doing good makes all of us feel good. It's really important for all of our well-being, and your kindness is incredible.
Thank you.
It's really
Totally agree. And Katrina says, I love this. You're a true entrepreneur, starting a pie shop with no pie making experience. A real
I'm a
can-do attitude.
nut.
Now, let me just say, if you were sitting in front of a bunch of private equity investors or JV, they'd say no experience. Like, we wouldn't do that. But what they couldn't see, right? And this is what happens often, is they couldn't evaluate, right, the strength of your spirit or your desire to do good.
Mhm.
And yet you've scaled your business. So from a business perspective, you took it from, what did you say?
$2,000 a year that we earned with our first fundraiser to a six-figure, almost $500,000 organization today. So yeah, we've come up a little ways.
I would say a little more than a little ways, right?
Yeah. And that was a lot. I mean, I baked thousands of pies. And in the beginning, that was Oscar. That was it was, $2 a slice. So those dollars, but my daddy was a child of the Depression, and he taught me how to squeeze a nickel into a quarter. So, I borrowed and traded and bartered and whatever I could do. And we still do that today, even though our budget is a little bit bigger. We still value every penny, every dollar. We have one little senior who sends a $7 check every month, and that check just means so much, even though we might be getting 100 times that somewhere else. But for that senior to be able to give that check and to know that it buys 20 pounds of produce that's going to her neighbor or somebody else, that gives her something that is, I think, priceless. And we're good about letting people know that. We still handwrite thank you notes to everybody that sends us money, and I think that's important too. That's another Southern thing my mama taught me. So
Well, I'm glad she did. We try to do that as well. We think it's so important to maintain that personal touch, but you
yes.
touched on something that really important. And Jamie, it kind of ties into what I heard you were talking about too. This,
Right.
woman who's giving $7 a month.
Mhm.
In a sense, you can talk about that is self-care, right?
Mhm.
Giving is self-care.
Mhm.
Oh, there's Belinda back. What'd you say in that way?
Linda.
Welcome back, Belinda. All right, get yourself ready. We're going to come to you in just a second. It's no worries whatsoever.
Okay.
No worries. But Jamie, in terms of giving, right? Isn't giving a way of caring for yourself because of all that goodness, whatever happens from a chemical point of view, self-esteem?
Doing good is feeling good, Donna. So
Mhm.
absolutely.
So that means, Malea, you should be sitting on top of the world.
Well, I do, but that's why it's so important that we give other people that opportunity, and especially at the holidays, we'll get a call from somebody who, may be in the midst of grieving the loss of a loved one or the loss of a marriage, and they said, we want to come help deliver to seniors, and we say, come on, because that was the year my mother passed. The first Mother's Day, my children and I went to nursing homes and handed out roses and flowers, and rather than sitting around and cry, which is what I wanted to do. So I know the power of giving and what it can do, for others. So as much as we give to seniors with the produce, I feel like it's equally important to give people the opportunity to participate in that, no matter whether it's a $7 check or a senior that sits in a wheelchair at the end of the produce line.
Right.
It's all important.
Right. And speaking of more important giving, the power of giving, Belinda, we're glad that you're here now. You created an organization called Love Lunches.
Correct. We created it on September 2019. It's been 4 years. So yes.
And that was born out of your desire to create a lasting legacy and loving memory of your,
Of my
go ahead, tell us about it.
of my son, who also gave back. He was a chef, and he got fired from many jobs for feeding people in need. So we've decided to continue his legacy with serving the needy.
And tell us a little bit, how do you do that? And just so everybody knows, your son was tragically at the age of 24 in a car accident, correct? That he did not survive.
Correct. So every fourth Saturday of the month, we feed in St. Augustine the needy, up to 80 people. We provide food, toiletries, anything that they're needing, from gift certificates to gift cards, to go to a store to get what they need if we do not have it. So we try to provide everything for them at that moment, because we don't know when they will be able to get the next items that they need.
That's great. And tell us a little bit about your organization. How many people work with you? How do you make this all?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it's a total of 10, and we're friends, but we also are family. They're, biggest support. They were there with us, my husband and I. The minute we lost our son, they heard about it, and they came right in and stepped up to the plate and tried to fill the void. But the void will never be filled. But we're trying to. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little choked up. I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. We're all with you. We're all with you.
So we are just wanting to give back and help each other, because that's what we need in the world, is people helping and giving and being kind and caring to each other.
Right. So I guess, and that, I guess, in the rush of, I guess you missed the beginning. I just talked about the rush of the season, right? There's so much pressure to get things done. And yet this reminder of giving and being there for each other, maybe that could help slow us down a little bit. I don't know.
It's a rat race, right?
It is.
Everyone seems like they're in a rat race, trying to, just looking forward and not looking to the side, to the left, or to the back. And we need to all just slow down, honestly, and listen to one another and see who's in need and help.
James?
And give back.
Yeah. So I'm just taking, I always take notes, Belinda and Malea. I think Malea's still there.
Belinda, your point about slowing down and, is the same. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to, you just have to be present, right? And in honor of your son, this is just so amazing.
Thank you.
Such a nice
Thank
way
you very much.
of allowing what he loved and what he kind of appreciated to share with other people.
Yes. He was a giving, kind, caring young man. He would give the shirt off his back, and I just hope that we are making him proud and continuing on. And hopefully we can continue this on for generations. Hopefully his daughter will be able to take it up and continue their legacy and continue to do what is needed for our communities.
Let me ask you, I know that you came up with some suggestions, right? Because we're looking to, we want to try to lift up people for this session. This is a gift of showing them that people can do things beyond what they expected. Why don't you take us through your feedback by doing good? First of all, give everyone their flowers while they're here. Tell us about that.
Correct. So, we take for granted for our loved ones that we see every single day. So, we just talk and then we just go on about our everyday life. Basically just telling someone, positive, like, thank you for being you. I love you. Or if they did something nice for you, make it notice, not when they're gone. Don't say I should have, could have, would have. Do it now, because we all know life is too short.
Okay. Keep going. Live life for today, not tomorrow. Oh, you probably can't see this. I'm reading your list that
No.
you shared with us. Live life today, not tomorrow.
Live life for today and not for tomorrow. Live it for today, what's in front of you. Accomplish your goals. Accomplish what you got out of bed for. Not focus on, oh, I can do it tomorrow, or oh, I can just use this special dish for a holiday or something. Just use it. Just do it for today. Don't worry about tomorrow or what the future, what's in front of you. You need to, focus
Right.
on.
And that would be related to like expecting, live in the moment, expect life and focus on the important things.
Correct. Live life in the moment, because we're all busy trying to take selfies or so busy trying to get that next shining object. Just live life now. Live life now. Stop worrying about the pictures. Enjoy your surroundings. Enjoy the people who's in your life and who's with you at that moment. Not trying to take pictures. Not trying to. And these are all things I wish I could have said to my son, because he was all about the selfies and all about, the next shining thing, or trying to get the next object or the next thing that's in the know, like what's new. Just live for the moment. Live for the moment.
Right. So, hey, Jimmy, you probably have seen this, and we all deal with this, right? There's so much around us, right? There's lots of shiny objects all the time. The world is sped up. Digital world actually makes life easier, but in some way complicates, right? It adds on. How do we do that? How do we
Belinda
apportion
has the message. Belinda's message is loud and clear. Be present. Be satisfied. It doesn't have to be the best wrapped or the most important. Just be present and enjoy what's right there.
Mhm.
It's such a great statement, Belinda.
Thank you.
Right. And again, welcome all questions, everybody. We're here on Refresh, our gift to you about doing good and feeling good. We have the wonderful Jamie Olken, 25-year psychotherapist and life coach, and two amazing women who, through different life circumstances, found really a new purpose, if you will, in doing good for others, which sustains their soul, right? And I just wrote down, Belinda, give back, be kind, right? Be present. You're not even, you're admonishing us, but actually you are recommending really important health aids, if you will, so that we can see our lives more clearly, especially now.
Smile, everybody. Smile feels good.
Yes.
Malea, how about you? What is this experience you've been in now, as you said, 15 years from your first pie? First of all, let me just say, are you still baking pies?
You've got to be better by now, Malea.
And what's your best pie? Like, if we're gonna order one, what are we ordering?
Well, the perennial favorite this time of year is my chocolate chunk pecan. And so it's, how do you make a pecan pie better? You add chocolate.
I see.
In
Not
the
more,
spring,
not more pecans.
yes,
Okay.
pecans, yes. And so in the spring, it's my blueberry cream pie. So we do, and I actually have a couple of little pie helpers. In the beginning, I just had one friend of mine. She's from Pakistan, and she helped me make pies, and she made coconut cream. And a lot of times people would ask, oh, these your grandmother's recipes? And I'd be like, yeah, somebody's grandma's recipe off the internet. And so my friend Renila would say, oh, yes, it's my grandmother in Pakistan who makes coconut cream pie. So that was always kind of a joke. But now we just do it 2 times a year, thank goodness, instead of all year long in the spring. And then right now we have a little thing going, pies and poinsettias. So you order a pie, and we have a nursery, Southern Horticulture, that gives us the poinsettias. So you get your pie and poinsettia. So hopefully I think I've got 17 so far to make.
17 orders?
Yes, 17 pies, yeah.
Oh, 17 pies ordered. Okay,
Yeah,
so do you
yeah.
ship them?
I'm sorry?
You ship them? Or
Oh, no. It's strictly
gotta come pick
local.
them up.
Yeah. Folks come by and get them. And there are a lot of them returning customers that have been, doing it for years. And so and then of course during the year I'll make the occasional pie for a birthday, or if we had 2 seniors who celebrated 100 years old, so we made pie for them. And we have a program called Pie It Forward, where we bake pies and take them to some of our community partners who help us, like United Way of St. John's or St. John's Housing Partnership. They refer seniors to us, so we bake pies, and I bake pies, and then my staff and volunteers, we go over and share the pie with those folks to let them know how much we appreciate the work they do too. So pie, we say, one of our sayings that I coined early on, and it's stayed with me, Lord help me, is pie. It's such a happy word. So that's that's what we say, but you have to say it like that, pie.
You do have to say, and where
you have
I
to
grew
kind of-
up, Jamie, where we grew up, they didn't say it like that.
I've been trying to practice like this whole session now.
Yeah, you
Right.
gotta say pie.
Ah,
Yeah.
All right, we got a great question from Alana. Do you find that eating together grants a space where you can talk and maybe even discuss people's ups and downs? In other words, breaking bread, sharing a table. Is that something you find is, additive to the experience that you are affording? Great question, Alana.
For me and my family, yes, we do that. For our seniors, one of the big things is social isolation, and that's something that we address as well. Our program's not just a drop and go. We spend time with these folks, and as a matter of fact, this Thanksgiving, thanks to the generosity of Winn-Dixie, we were able to give for the first time a complete Thanksgiving meal to each one of our 650 seniors. So they got the protein, sliced turkey breast, and then they got the cranberry sauce, sweet potatoes, the whole thing. And I had one senior call and tell me that she never thought she would ever, it had been so many years, and she never thought she'd ever get to have a Thanksgiving meal in her home. And, we hear that a lot. So even, and we always say it's about so much more than the food. It's about so much more than the pie. It's about that social connectedness piece. And just for her, knowing that somebody cared enough to make sure that she had that Thanksgiving meal, even enough for leftovers, which is the most important part of Thanksgiving.
I forgot about that. Absolutely. How about you, Belinda? How about you?
We do the same thing. We cook and everything, but sitting down and eating with friends, family is always a blessing.
Right.
Spreading the love.
Mhm.
Right. Totally. Right. Does it work? Do you have a lot of volunteers that help you gather the stuff, and then how do you distribute it?
For me, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Yes, for you.
So we have people who donate the items, and then sometimes we go out of our pocket and buy what they need, and then we distribute everything there on site when we're feeding them every fourth Saturday of the month. So we've had people to drop off clothes, tennis shoes, socks, toiletries, snacks. So all of that, we make sure that it goes out to the community.
That's fantastic. Josh has a question for you. Joshua Woods. When you're a consistent, in spite of how you treat me type of giver, that's an interesting qualifier. How do you all personally walk the fine line of giving back without, one, enabling, and two, being taken advantage of?
Well, like we say as a group, we just give back, whether they're just being, even if they don't need it, we just basically give back, hoping and knowing and praying that this is what they need. We don't try to look at it as if they're taking advantage of us. We just give back from the heart, and what they do with those that's them. But we just know that we want to give back.
Great. How about you, Malea? Have you had any specific instances on either? You can shed any light on either of those?
Oh, golly, yeah. Working in the domestic violence field for many years, you have what you call shelter hoppers, and they're women that just go from shelter to shelter. And so when you get a woman on the line, you ask these questions, and a lot of my coworkers would say, you know, oh, we're not going to bring her in because she sounds like a shelter hopper, and and she might be, but she might not be. And so my policy was always you bring them in and then you figure it out. And it's, you know, with the seniors, we have some folks. I just am getting text from one right now who double dip, and we've gotten conned a time or two, but for all that you have to go, if you're in a position of being a giver, you just have to do it. And then if you figure out later that it wasn't what it seems, then you change your path. But you can't, I don't think you can ever get to the place where you're looking suspiciously at people and saying, oh, you know, they're this or they're that. And especially working with the homeless too, you know this, Belinda, and we've given to Dining with Dignity many times over the years, some of our excess produce and things. And that's that's a big, and people feel a certain kind of way about the homeless folks in St. Augustine. It's not an easy job at all. But you can't look at them and say, okay, well, they're coming here to eat and then they're going down there to eat. Well, you know, so
Yeah,
what?
it happens. Now, Petrina asked a very interesting question, and Jamie, then I'm going to ask this question, come back to you, because I know that you put some things together for us as well, and we'd like to talk about those before we have to depart. But Petrina, this is an interesting observation. I see predominantly women building community. It's funny, I had a meeting at the city yesterday, and I talked about that. What are your thoughts about bringing more men into giving back? No, I think that's community building as well. Is this social conditioning? You guys, in terms of your walks, Jamie, you can hop in here too as well. What we have said, because we at Generation W created a thing called Generation Works, because we felt that women truly are soul builders of the city, but then they weren't looked at, viably as business builders as well. And look at you, both of you are building, and it doesn't have to be the next General Electric, right? But you are scaling and building organizations that deliver in ways that are really meaningful. Any comment, anybody here?
Well, I think for us, you know, we started out as a priority women, owned and operated, and my second in charge is a very strong woman, and our board is all women. We just got our first man, and it's not because we don't want any, but that just seems to be. We do have men that volunteer. You know, most of our folks are retired, they're older and looking for something to do. So, and we need some of the men folks because we got a lot of heavy stuff, and ain't none of us got a good knee between us. So, we need some good strong. So if you're in the St. Johns County area and you got a good back, come on, because we need some people to get up, put things up there on the top, and we'll treat you right too. All those women
That
are
would be good. That would be good. So Jamie, let me come back to you. I know that you put a couple of things. You started out, you spoke to us about identifying triggers this time of year, preparing for all of those. Leave us with some good tips as we continue in this holiday season and wanting to emerge from it feeling better and stronger than we currently are now, if in any way we can.
So let's be kind to ourselves. If you hear what I'm saying, is kindness is definitely a key right now. Alana put a question in, and I think it's great, which is, when we are overeating or when we're over and we're forgetting about how to take care of ourselves, we just kind of remind ourselves and then just start. We don't go back and say, oh, we didn't do it. It's just going forward. Kind of keep a list of what you want to remind yourself over the next couple of weeks. Belinda, I just wrote down your name. I'm very interested in hearing more. Malea, I'm definitely coming to Hastings. So I think it's about following up about what makes us feel good. And, Alana, when you ask, what do you do? I just think you have to move forward. Be present. And if it doesn't work, then move forward. And I think there was another question, but I think we got to put our oxygen mask on first. And then once we take care of ourselves, we really should. I personally feel the kinder I am, the better I feel. It definitely triggers all the good chemistry in my brain.
Yeah, which is
It's a
great. And
tough lesson to learn the oxygen mask first. It's taken me a good 60 years to figure that one out.
Yes.
yeah, but you're there. See, like, you're there. And I have to just say, Joy's a former principal. She's an educator. And I think, Joy, as we head into the holiday season and the new year, one, appreciate your observation about the impressiveness of these women and really great causes. But the realization that that there is so much good in this country, which we all definitely need, right? And it is in our neighborhoods, it's our next door neighbors, it's around the corner. There are really people really taking the time to do good and making us all feel better. And Joy's sending, we should send these names, to David Muir, World News, and we can do a segment on you. I love that.
David Muir.
Okay, we can definitely do that. So, I always like to take notes. And let me just see. One things that came out to me, again, I'll say, Belinda, you said give back, be kind, the overall power of giving. Malea, I am taking this with me. I'm going to remind my team all the time. Remember, we can squeeze nickels into quarters. Right? I mean,
Yep.
I just love this. And I think, Jamie, what you said about there's always something someone can do.
Mhm.
I think if we leave today together at this refresh, we will be refreshed by that thought that there's always something we can do. Yes, Jamie, we don't have to say yes to all of it, but if we can pick just one thing a day that we know that can help somebody else, you know what? Then we can always lean on that goodness that comes from that, right? And that can also, as you said, Belinda, keep us focused on what's important, right? As far as all of that. Let me remind everybody, I want to thank everybody who's joined us, not only on our Zoom, but also from our Facebook. Share this with your friends because we will post it. Sherry, thank you. And wishing you a happy holiday for being a tremendous producer. Always appreciate you. Always being there, all the planning, Ariel on our team, Yasmin, Leslie, everybody who's contributing from Generation W. Let me share with you if I can. Okay, Sherry, every time you switch your screen, unfortunately, it takes me off my screen, so I got to go back here. I got it. Thank you very much. We're gonna on January 10th, we'll be back with Tiffany Wilding White. We got to meet a little bit. She's a former national champion gymnast. She's a performance coach, and what a way to start the new year with focusing on getting off to a positive start. We'll have great guests following up on January 24th and February 7th. So if you're inclined now, please definitely put it on your calendar. And as you know, at Generation W and our whole concept of refresh sharing is caring. So let us share more with you. Please go to our website, sign up for our newsletter so you can stay in touch with all of the activities that we will be bringing on. And of course, be sure and follow us or contribute to our social media. Belinda, this is good social media. This is not bad social media. You don't have to take pictures, but if you want to take pictures of giving, we will certainly post them, right, Ariel? And lastly, for your calendars, April 5th, Generation W, the National Thought Leadership Now event. Malea, you'll be happy to know we started very small there as well, and now we've become a National Thought Leadership event. It is our 13th year, and our theme this year is believe. What do you believe?
Love it.
Believe in. How do we believe? What do we believe
Love
about each other? What are our stories? We have amazing speakers, and of course, once we come back, we'll be talking a lot more about that. Joy Kurtz, I expect to see you here April 5th. April 5th. Until then, thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Belinda. Thank you, Malea. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you all. Remember,
Thank
do
you
it
all.
good, makes us feel good, right? And we should make sure that, and so it's in our power in many ways that we can continue to feel good. Thank you, Alana and Josh and everybody else who showed up. Have a very, very, very happy and meaningful holiday.
Same to all of
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for having us.